Burgess and Bolton's weekly wrap-up.
Hello, Ben.
Hello, Jeremy. How are you?
I am very well. Thank you very much for asking. Different location today. Back in the bat office. But
Yeah, you look like yes, you look slightly in the closet.
Yeah,
you can say that these days.
Yeah. Hopefully, someone gets me out. No, not in that way, but you know what I mean. Anyway, Hello everyone.
Yeah,
and welcome to this week's edition of Burgess and Bolton's weekly wrap-up, where we look at everything to do with the London market, technology, change, innovation. This week, we're going to focus a bit on the Sompo Aspen story, FCA priorities. We've got an event coming up next week, which is quite exciting. Let's start off, Ben, with this one. Sompo and Aspen are now one. A bit more M&A activity, I think.
Yeah, well, this was about 9 months ago. This was announced, maybe a little less. And so this week they have said the deal has been done. Now, the question always is, do they keep the brand that they're merging with, or what do they do? They've kept it pretty simple. Aspen is finished. No more.
Ooh.
It is met its demise.
It is an ex-Aspen.
It's an ex-Aspen, an ex-insurance business, although they are obviously consuming all of that business into Sompo UK. Yeah, and that's kind of it. But it is another. It's one of the brands that'll go. So I think there'll be others that will go as well. You've got probably IQ and Star. I think that will become Star.
Yeah,
I believe. So yeah, we're reducing the number. I mean, there's still a heck of a lot of insurers in the market. But we're gradually, they're gradually being whittled down, I think.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Just sticking on the kind of the brand aspect. Why do you think they decided to kind of ditch the Aspen brand and just keep the Sompo? They just thought it wasn't strong enough, or they wanted to concentrate on one. What do you think the logic was?
I don't know, really. I mean, I think I suspect, yes, they've decided doesn't carry any real goodwill, particularly in the market, and therefore they don't need to keep it. I think if you think of the Zurich Beazley one, where there's been a lot more investment into the Beazley brand, and arguably it is a much bigger brand than Aspen, much more salient brand. They're talking about keeping that for a while. In fact, even reversing it, that they do all the specialty stuff in Beazley and so on. So yeah, I mean, I think there's no real perception of value in the Aspen name carrying on. No, it's had a checkered history, to be fair.
Yeah, I suppose. It's quite interesting when you kind of just think about some of these deals that are going through and kind of the synergies that they're trying to find, and the various efficiencies and growth opportunities and things like that. I was actually thinking today, with my kind of technology and operations hat on, whether some of the drivers for that might be changing. So in the past, it was all about kind of, market share and perhaps taking books of business or underwriting teams and skills and capabilities and adding that to your organization. Where I think now added into that mix is also kind of digital capabilities. So if you think about an established company that hasn't invested for a long time in its technology estate, and he's got a choice. Either they buy a young startup company that's got good technology capabilities, and they see that they can plug that in and move and transition their business across. I just wonder whether that might be in the future another kind of driver for M&A, as well as all the traditional ones.
I think it would be, and I think you've got. I mean, if you look at the banking market, I think that has happened in the past. I think there are, allocations, if you like, of systems when these things happen. So I think if you think back to Lloyd's TSB, I think the TSB system in Lloyd's is the consumer personal lines business, and the old Lloyd's system is now applied to business, which means it's totally rubbish, and always has been. And so they decided that way. So I think they would do that. I think I suppose it depends on how compatible they are on the cost, but I mean, I think overall this is just really they bought effectively some books of business from Aspen for $3 and a bit billion.
Yeah,
and that has grown their footprint because they presumably couldn't see a way to grow organically, which doesn't surprise me really. But they still will need to grow organically. They still will be competing. They're not big enough. Even these two businesses are not big enough. They've got a kind of specialty in a bit of a reinsurance business. But they're also trying to grow in the UK market, the UKGI, which again is a challenge. So it's kind of interesting. It's this front page doesn't tell you a lot, does it?
No, not really. Is it because
it's a disappointment actually in a way, because I think it's a disappointment for people in the business who you'd think would expect a bit more than just this rather perfunctory. As we welcome the Aspen team to Stompo, we're excited about the opportunity that our joint future brings. Well, okay, it's not really a joint future, is it? We've got already a name. You don't exist anymore. There'll be cost cutting, everything. I don't see this. I just think that's really very blank corporate speak that doesn't tell you anything and doesn't make me feel very inspired to go and use them. No. I mean, what is it? What have they sold there as a benefit? Nothing, have they?
No.
We've merged and Aspen's now gone. We're now one. Well, surely there's a benefit. What's the benefit?
Yeah.
Accelerate our commitments. I don't know what accelerate our commitments means. How do you accelerate a commitment?
You put it in a fast car.
Yeah. I don't understand. I mean, it just doesn't mean meaningless, isn't it? Meaningless.
Yeah. So it's drivel, isn't it?
It is. It's a shame, really, when you've spent all that money, made all that effort to go and do a merger, and then whoever it is can't be bothered to write anything more that's got anything about it.
Yeah.
I bet Zurich's a bit different.
Yeah, let's compare and contrast. Hopefully in a few weeks' time. I think it's the 4th of March is the deadline. So yeah,
if it happens,
if it goes through. Good. It's always good to talk about kind of brand and how it features, and we'll come on to talk a bit more about that in a second. But let's talk first about regulation, Ben, because the FCA published its priorities, I think, for this year, this month. What's the timeline?
Next year, next year. So it's the whole of 26 and a bit of 27, I think. So they're I mean, it's worth just a quick touch on this, because I think it has been there's been a lot of pushback, I think, both within government and politically, and also I think from the insurance industry on some of the regulation and how complex it was, and how it was over the top. This is really this is where they're setting out their priorities, and they're very much, I think, back focused on consumer insurance, it seems to me. They don't actually say it's personal lines, so I suppose that means SME and personal lines. not so much on specialty. They are focused, interestingly, on claims. That is a big focus for them, on how claims is handled, and consumer understanding, as they describe it, which is for people to understand the products they're buying, and sort of service quality. So there's and then kind of what they call growth, I think. So they're growth and innovation. So there's built in here the idea that the insurance, the concession that the insurance sector is actually a big sector, and the regulator needs to be part of encouraging growth, which I think is good. And it talks about AI, and it talks about cyber and all that sort of stuff. And they've got sandboxes and everything else. So there's quite a lot here. It's high level, this document. But towards the back, there's some specifics. So they're looking at sales processes and the outcomes, in terms of the outcomes for customers, and then the understanding of the product. And they're looking at claims handling measures. That's Q1, so pretty soon they're going to be looking at claims. And they're going to be doing a review of outsourced claims or delegated claims in Q2, reporting in 27. Early 27. So they're looking at quite a few things that matter to the markets we work in, as well as the things that perhaps we're not so bothered about, like pet insurance, funeral plans, although maybe we should be.
I'm in on both of those, I'll just say.
Okay. So those things are important, but not to our show. But
no.
Captive framework as well, they're looking at. So yeah, I mean, it seems it's kind of saying we're going to be lighter regulator. We're going to be, we're not going to focus as much on what firms should do well. We're going to leave that to competition. We're going to focus on acting faster where there is harm. So fair enough. But yeah, it's a lighter touch regulator, I think we have from this document.
Yeah, I think that would be welcome, because I think there was quite a bit of criticism of some of the rules that came in that were absolutely nailed on to the personal line space, and they just and then it was just kind of broad brushstroked across the whole of the sector, and suddenly you were looking at regulations that didn't make any sense in the specialty complex end of insurance. So I'm glad. I'm sure it'll be welcomed across the industry.
I think it's broad, and it seems to have, it seems to have touched on the right things, although it's quite high level, I think, and it really smacks of a regulator that's been pushed back in favour of growth. Yeah, by government.
Certainly using those types of stock images on the front cover of the publication.
It's the Lloyd's building.
Gives me a sense that maybe they're just folding their arms a bit and going, well, let's see what happens.
Well, yeah, they can't be too. Yeah, I mean, they'll want to go and ping people and send them to jail and all sorts, but they can't do that for a while.
No. Okay, good. Let's move on. And so touched on the brand kind of theme topic when we were talking about the M&A, and we're going to be continuing, or rather you're going to be continuing, and you've kind of invited me to come along to the London Market Brand Index 2026. And this is an event happening on Tuesday, I think. And do you want to tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, so we've done this now. This is the fourth year, and it's done by our Insurindex, our publishing channel, and this will be the launch of the ranking for 2026 of the London Market brands. And clearly, as we've already discussed, there is quite a bit of flux and change and things going on. So what we're actually showing is the end of 2025, but we will be obviously talking about from there what happens to what potentially happens to that brand ranking as we look ahead to the market, which is consolidating relatively quickly at the moment and might even speed up. So, yeah, there's quite a lot of change. Last year Beazley was #1 brand, for example. So that's kind of interesting as to where that goes now from here. Whether it's #1 again, we'll find out on Tuesday. But it's clearly going to be up there still. And which other brands are coming up? But I think it's got a lot more relevant, I suppose. I think it always was relevant, but more relevant to people, I think, in the market now when they kind of see what's going on. That at the very least, the brand is an indicator for the brokers of what business they're dealing with. And this is going to get quite confusing, I think, as it goes forward as to who's doing what for a while. I think we will be saying and going forward talking about how you've got to really get the brand bit right, because everybody uses that so much now. And it's so important, to what customers, particularly in the specialty markets are buying. They're buying, there's big brands that play, that have been heavily invested, that are sort of household names that play out in the boardroom. And then there are kind of very specialist players who are not quite the same, but they want to have their bit of the pie as well. So I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because brand itself is quite a broad term, and it hasn't necessarily been applied to the London market. What are the types of measures that you use in order to kind of rank the brands? Are they metrics? Are they hard measures or more soft measures? How does it work?
Well, they're quite. I mean, for marketing measures, they're kind of standard ones that you would measure brand by. So what we do is we take what we'd call a spontaneous awareness measure. So which brands are you most aware of among brokers, and then that gives you a sense of what's top of mind, what we call sometimes mind share, and I'll come back to why that matters. And then actually the share of usage, so how much business. The amount of business placed, so you have a sense of scale. So you've got those two factors, sort of what my knowledge of you, if you like, and my familiarity with your brand, and the actual size of that brand. So I would know Coca-Cola; it's also a huge brand. So the importance of the awareness measure is that it links very closely to both marketing investment, to what you would spend, because the more you spend, the more aware people become of your brand. And obviously people need to be aware of your brand. The more aware, the more likely they are to be in market for you, as it said. And that's just as true of brokers. So brokers who are more aware are 7 times more likely to place business with you. And so that point is about consideration. So all market research really measures whether you would consider buying the brand as a result of knowing about it. And that's what it's doing. So that's why the awareness is so important. So it is two quite hard measures, and we've done them for 25 years now. So probably got it right.
Yeah.
Practiced it.
Yeah. You've had a go.
We've had a good go at it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. I think one of the things, like, from that's really important, I think, when we're talking about brand, is that it's kind of the culmination of everything that the organization does and everything that the people involved in it do, isn't it, from the outside? And so I think sometimes that is lost in the structure of the organizations in the London market, because of the siloed mentality sometimes within claims, underwriting, IT operations, finance. I think sometimes what's lost is that overarching, we are one organization trying to deliver a service, and these are our, this is how we do it, type of thing.
I mean, you're right. And I think the change, the brand becomes important, particularly when there's a lot of change, because if you've just merged a company and you need to have your new employees from the company you bought, they need to understand the brand and the values and what you stand for and how you operate and all those sorts of things. And so do your customers. So you need continuity, really, and the brand carries all of that baggage for you. And the better it does it, the theory is, and the proof of that is in all the kind of research that's been done, is that it brings business to you, so it brings more profit. It makes you more profitable because you're not having to sell or discount your product to sell it all the time, which is all you really do in sales is say, here you go. We've got a cheap offer on Friday and buy some more of our stuff. Whereas brand builds over a long period of time into something that people.
Yeah, certainly does. And it's that kind of slow, long burn that really pays the dividends going forward. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the event on Tuesday. Should be another. Who else is taking part? Anybody famous?
We've got Mr. Mark Gagan is presenting. He's going to be doing a speech, and some bloke called Jeremy Burgess
from Bunker HQ. They're going to release me for a day.
Yeah, we'll do a few predictions, and there'll be some more stuff coming off here. And if you want to find out about it, it's on InsureIndex. It'll all be on InsureIndex. You can see the presentations, I think, on InsureIndex after as well.
Okay, good. Excellent. Looking forward to that. Okay. Quick one today, Ben, because we're on a pre-record. As you can see, I'm in a shed. Ben's in normal office. But anything good planned this weekend? I do. It's my brother's 50th birthday this weekend.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, taking him out, having a nice meal, and looking forward to that.
Lovely. Yeah, I've got my my middle kid's birthday, so that's what we're celebrating. So it's a birthday weekend. Yeah, and it should be quite nice weather, which is great.
Good. Yes, finally stopped raining. So that's something we can all celebrate. That's true. Okay, good. Right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We will be back next week with more of the same, but have a good weekend, whatever you're up to, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.